there, commercial construction coffee talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David, of course, and I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation magazine. I'm digital now, but this is what it looks like. I've been breaking out some of the archives. This is actually from March, April of 2020. And we have Midas Hospitality of the great state of Missouri in St. Louis. They're hoteliers, construction management, builders. They're a whole jack of trades. But this, I always like breaking out the issues and, looking to see what things look like. This one actually had my wrap up on my last in face-to-face before the shutdown in Jacksonville. So, there's me working on my deck in March of 2020 when I had to keep myself busy. But anyway, we're digital now, but it's always nice to hold them in my hand. So I hope everybody had a great week. It's Friday night here in the ATL, and I was devastated last night. The University of Denver Pile ice hockey team, ranked number 4 in the country, seeded number 1. They lost to the Big Red of Cornell 2-0, and we were defending the NCAA D1 men's champions last year. Got knocked out of the first round. So kind of a bummer. But listen, great season. Listen, just making the tourney is unbelievable. And, a lot of those guys, the seniors, it would have been nice if they could have won another championship, but and being the only school to have 10. But listen, making it to the tourneys and listen, getting to the championship game. I was hoping that I would get down to Tampa because I had a client on my podcast a couple of weeks ago who said, look, if DU makes it to the championship, you can fly down. I'm going to get tickets. We're going to go to the game. So, and my mom's birthday was that weekend. So I was holding off to book my tickets. Sure enough, DU got knocked out last night. Went online and booked my ticket to Arizona for my mother's 84th birthday to go out April 11th that weekend and celebrate it with her. So anyway, but congrats to all the seniors. They're all recruited. They're all going to play in the NHL, and we'll reload like we always do. And there's always next year. And listen, whoever wins the tournament this year, best of luck. And looking forward to watching some of the games. Our lacrosse team, we're off this weekend at spring break out in University of Denver. So got Villanova coming up in league play. And I think we're ranked number 15 in the country. We just beat Ohio State last weekend. And now we're coming into league play. And in about a month, tournament, and then the NCAA dance. And hopefully, we'll get in. So other than that, I've got my Georgia Swarm on. We're playing too. We're trying to make the playoffs. We're on a 3 or 4 game winning streak. And got to win the next couple of games to get into the playoffs. And we're on momentum. We started out 0-7, and we're 3-8, and we just have to win the next 4 or 5 games to finish the season out, and we'll get in. So, and no one wants to play a team that's got momentum and a hot goalie. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everything shakes out this weekend. And of course, there's March Madness. There's still a couple Cinderella teams that are in there. I watched Gonzaga beat UCLA right down at the last seconds last night, and University of Florida Atlantic beat Tennessee. I mean, there's still some Cinderella stories that are in there, and so good luck to all the hardwood out there, and and the ladies too. So lots going on here in Atlanta. 80 degrees today, beautiful, except there's pollen everywhere. It's just coated with yellow or green. So if you got allergies, you got to take the Claritin, because you're just going to be stuffed up. But beautiful weekend ahead, and looking to clean up the yard and maybe put some plants in. And I think, the cold spell's gone. We're done with the old man winter, and spring is here, and it's time to, get going. And the grass is turning, and get all the old grass. And I might even cut the grass this weekend. So who knows? Anyway, got a guest out in the great state of California and SoCal in San Diego. His name is Gabe Gunlock, and he's the CEO of an application digital called Authorized. And the reason why I had Gabe say hello, first of all, from SoCal down in San Diego.
There's plenty of green out here too, but not as much as Atlanta. Hello, everyone from San Diego. Thanks for having us. And by the way, speaking Final Four, it's 3:28 here on the West Coast. San Diego State Aztecs still in it at 3:30. They kick off against Alabama today. So just had to mention that, of course.
Hey, Alabama, they're ranked the seeded #1 out of the SEC. So,
Well, you're talking about Cinderella stories. So I was saying, let's leave San Diego still in there.
Hey, listen, I'm a Yankee living in the South. So the SEC is king. So I'm from Georgia. So I got to pull for all the Georgia, and I like most of all the teams, but Alabama, I'm always rooting against them. And the same thing with Florida. The rest of them, South Carolina, Tennessee, or I like all the other teams. But those two, I always root against. So
we'll have to record in a few hours and have a result here. So that hopefully there is a little Cinderella story and San Diego can move on today. But I just had to, I had to throw that in hometown.
No. Last night I was doing a recording and I missed the first period of the DU Cornell game, and it was the period just ended. I'm like, oh, they're down 2-0, and I didn't know what it was, and so I know how you're feeling there, So go Aztecs,
Yes, thank you. There we go. There we go.
And for all you Alabama, go Tide. Okay, I gotta be, whatever. So, but there's still some, there's some Cinderellas out there. It's always a good story.
So I will tell you one interesting thing too is about you talking about taking your Claritin. I take mine out here, but there's not as many yards to mow. So I'm up in a high rise right now. There's a lot more of that in San Diego. So jealous of you having a yard, but not jealous of upkeeping it. But that sounds fun. Always thinking of the house.
Yeah, my wife's like, well, you should just get someone home. I'm like, no, it's kind of like my workout, and I like doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, we're gonna put in a vegetable garden this year, and I'm building a house up on the lake. So we have this house that we bought, and they're kind of sitting in while we're building the house, and we're empty nesters, and I got 4 dogs, and but this year we're gonna put in a vegetable garden. We're gonna grow lettuce, tomatoes, potatoes, and I don't know, whatever. So that's kind of what I'm gonna carve out this weekend and get things ready to
Perfect. I'll take a half a season. I'll be over for dinner.
Yeah, but it's being sustainable. You got
totally. No, that sounds amazing. Off the grid.
Yeah. So if you come, we'll have a nice grown salad right from the back, and I'm gonna block it off so the dogs don't wee on it, and all that stuff. But that's what we're doing: potatoes, lettuce, tomatoes, peppers, we're going to put all that in there. And
well, the beauty of connecting across the nation. I had a friend in Atlanta. Now I've got another friend in Atlanta. So plenty of reason to join. But yeah, I appreciate you exposing me to this community today. Obviously, we've been jamming a little bit this week, and I appreciate you having me as we're out networking, looking for great entrepreneurs that are growing their business, trying to help out. And that's the reason that we got connected, was the passion for that entrepreneurship. Tell me one more time I want to remind myself, commercial construction and renovation, the passion behind this community.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm a publisher. I've been around for almost 25 years, and I was with Nielsen. I went out on my own and started my firm right after 9/11, and I've gone through all the pits and valleys over the last 25 years. I went through the .com burst. I went through the mortgage crisis in 2008, and now we went through the the shutdown, the roller coaster over the last 3 years, and all the other things that have gone on. And as an entrepreneur, I'm still standing today. And went from the print face-to-face to the digital side of things. So we actually met through a real estate connection that I had done a guest hosting on the radio show, and that's how we connected. And listen, everybody out there, it's all who you know. You'd be amazed that you talk to someone, you meet someone else, and this and that. So the reason why I had Gabe on is he's got this really cool app. And it's all about networking. Real estate is his bread and butter, but it can really be adapted and tweaked to all these other sectors. And he and I talked. I said, look, I definitely want to have you I want to put you on the podcast and on the show, and tell the show, and we'll actually do a little demo here so you can see what it looks like. But the way it really works, Gabe, here's how it works. You got to tell your story first. You got to tell us where you grew up, brothers, sisters, if you played any sports, and how you ended up at Authorized. And then, we'll talk about the last couple of years, lessons learned, and then how this thing is adapted. And then we'll do our little demo, and then you'll leave your contact info and, one positive thought or phrase, and then we'll end it. So with that said,
I love it.
It's yours.
I love it.
Your story.
It's really cool. You don't get a lot of time to talk about yourself in this busy world, but I will take that opportunity. Yeah. So, the story is pretty fun. Actually, it started when I was in college age. So it was the year 2000. I was graduating from high school, and for graduation, my parents actually gave me a computer. So I remember within a course of about a month, I went
Was it a Mac or was it a PC?
It was a PC at that time, and I was PC for a long time. Great question though. I'm in the Mac verse now. I just have to. I'm in media. But when I got that PC, I had at one time I was living at home, and there's the computer that back in the year 2000 it would be like the family computer. It wasn't your personal computer. So it was a combination of, I moved into a dorm room. I went from like a dial-up connection to a T1 connection because it was networked in the dorms, and I had my own computer. And at the same exact time, there's this clash of this thing called Google, and Google searching was like just coming, and Napster. So over the course of like 1 month, I went from no computer and a slow connection to having a computer connection, and my mind just went, whoa, like what is this internet thing?
Wow, Napster, that's a name out of the past.
Well, you want to hear the value of Napster when you're 18 years old is it used to cost about, let's say, $18 to go down to the warehouse or where you'd buy a CD back in the day. Believe it or not, we'd go to the store and buy them. And you'd pay $18. You maybe get like what, 12 songs, 16 songs on a CD. That was like money. I mean, you $18, you're 20 years old, you get one every like 6 months or something. And then a week later, a month later, I'm in the dorms, unlimited downloading of music. Anything you wanted for free. So it felt like you were downloading something, I mean, really tangible. But also what it allowed you to do was explore media in a new way, right? You were able to get underground music, different genres you normally wouldn't find. You were able to network about the other artists. So the point is, without knowing what career I was going into, this computer and media just exploded for me. And so the story goes like this. I'm in college. I stay in the dorm rooms. I spend about a year not going to class, just working on the computer. And I come home and I say, I want to start a band. And I didn't understand exactly what that meant. So the band I was in actually goes into a recording studio about a year or two later. And of course, once again, it's the computer and media.
What'd you play?
My mom was a piano teacher, so I read music, piano, guitar, but I was, of course, this little lead singer, man. Come on, it was college years.
Yeah.
So the point is, all of this keeps revolving around a computer and media, and I didn't know that was actually going to end up being the career, but really it all came out of, I'm in the band, we go into a recording studio. Well, I had thought, a recording studio, you're thinking big equipment and tape decks and all of this analog equipment, and it turns out I go in and this guy's got a computer hooked up to an interface, and it's digital now. So I come out of the recording studio and I go, wow, like you could do that on a computer too. So it was between search, video, audio. And really what happened over the next 10 years is I was a music producer via a computer. So I started to obviously move from PC to Mac, but it was downloading software, using softwares, plugging them all together. And at the same time, when you're editing audio media, right, it's layers with filters. Then you got video. Well, graphics was the same thing. So the story goes, I didn't get a college career paperwork, but my college career was learning media and the computer science side of things. So if you layer them, it's basically audio, video, graphics. That leads, of course, to, as you know, printing, which then once you buy a bunch of print equipment, you start to realize, okay, now I'm in manufacturing, not necessarily the creative side of it. So the printing to me led the same as you, led to web, led to the distribution of media via the web. And then that led really into, building custom software and understanding, okay, what all can this web thing do? And here I am 20 years later, still in the same career, never picked a career path, never got off the computer, just kept making media, new media products. So my depth of knowledge of what was media, how has it changed? That's like my passion. And I just couldn't get away from it. And that's how we arrived with this here today. So quite the non-chosen path. But man, what a computer and phone can do today compared to what it was is like, it still blows my mind every day what's happening.
And listen, I went to University of Denver. I went to play lacrosse and ice hockey and a ski bum. All right. I was on the 5-year program. I took a year off and skied and had my parents had a house in Vail. So I had to pass. I bartended up on the mountain. But here's the thing with audio and video, I was a deadhead way back when. Yes, all you out there, commercial construction, coffee talk, I was a deadhead.
You're wearing a little shorter nowadays.
But we used to be into taping all the shows. So Maxell, XL2 tapes, and then we had the equalizers, and then we got into beta, and then it got into VHS, and then it went into CD, and now all my buds that we grew up with, now they have everything digitized.
Yes, sir.
So I could go back to 1976, Grateful Dead at Louisville, and it sounds crystal clear, but he still has all of the old Maxells, and it's kind of like that whole concept of starting and then seeing how technology had advanced. We thought beta was going to be there forever,
right. And the beta was a short phase. Well, here's the thing about this though, David. I thought CDs were going to be there forever.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we look back, and that was like a window of like that holographic. This thing's awesome. And you know what the difference between a tape deck and a CD was? You push that thing, it would slide out, put it on there, we go back in. Super impressive. And then that's like what, like a 10-year window? I mean, when was the last time you honestly put a CD in some?
Well, here, I just sold my house in October of 2021. I sold my house. So we had all these CDs. All right. You know what I do all day? I just go to YouTube and I type in, Todd Rundgren's greatest hits, or, whatever.
And now we got the video.
I mean, you could go to Spotify. Right. Exactly. But that's all I do, or I'm listening to someone and I'm just, but all my CDs, I kept them because they'll probably be collectors or something, down the road.
Yep.
The same thing with my kid. He had a Wii, he had the Nintendo, he had all that stuff, and now it's all digital, and
totally.
Someone's going to want to have that stuff. But you look at how quickly all of that came to be, and then happened. A year later, they upgrade it, and it's just amazing. And
so it's been fun for me though, and I think you're kind of the same there, which is, if you're not too overwhelmed by it, it can be a fun ride. Understanding it is going to change. Understanding what it can do for you now. And anyway, that's kind of the spawning of, even this meeting now, we're both into media, we're both entrepreneurs, we're both out there connecting and using that. And so that's kind of like the segue into, I'll give you one more overlap. So at the same time I'm doing media, the other part of the story is, I'm 40 years old. I say I've been in real estate 40 years. That's because my father was a real estate broker, right? So it was like, I grew up and I was around real estate my whole life. And the first time I remember marketing was I'm like about this big and I'm on roller skates, right? And so my dad hands me some real estate flyers. Hey, we're doing open house over here. Go pass these flyers out. So I'm doing my three favorite things. By the way, my sport was hockey. So I was
me too. There you go.
Marketing, real estate, and roller skating. Okay, that's great. And then I tried for the longest. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be in these industries. And sure enough, it just turns out I'm just around it all the time. So what's interesting is that's where the brand Authorized and all that came out of. Was 5 years ago. I started to see that there was a major change in technology, and what the capabilities were. There was also real estate, was becoming a changing market. It was a very face-to-face, belly-to-belly business, and there was a lot more technology involved. And then for my marketing career, I noticed there was something that I kept repeating all the time that I wanted to make slicker for my customers. So we came up with the platform called Authorized, which is essentially an all-in-one marketing platform, mainly for real estate, but it works for all the other industries. So in that journey of learning what real estate needed, we slowly have rolled out new tools. And one of those tools just became our networking tool, which is obviously, the reason that we connected with you here today. By the way, I do want to give a demo in just a moment, because what I have is a super cool, very quick way to get online that we could share with everyone that's watching this. There's a free product that we've got if they want to go ahead and take their networking and marketing to the next level. And I'll share that in just a minute. But that's the story of how we got here. It was always marketing, real estate, and I just kept banging away on a computer, and now here's where we are today.
Hey, you'll like it, because so when I could walk, my parents put me on skis and skates. So
it's a great way to start.
I wanted to play professional hockey. That's what I wanted to do. So every summer I used to go up to Canada at this place called the Hockey Ranch. It was 4 hours of horseback and 4 hours of hockey. I lived on the ranch, and just that was my gig. Went to prep school, was captain of my team, and then I went to DU taxi squad. But I didn't pick up a lacrosse stick till my sophomore year in prep school, and then I became actually a better lacrosse player than I was a hockey player. But I still play in the old man's league, and
I love it.
I played in the roller hockey league. I played in the ice hockey league. I played in the old man's lax league. I played, so
love it.
That whole gig. But talking about computers, I was a PC guy forever. So I got my son a Mac when he was in high school. Okay. And then finally he pounded on me, and now I got a Mac, lightning quick, different than PC. So I have a PC and I have a Mac, and he finally made me get an iPhone. And I just got a new AirBook Pro, and 18-hour battery is just, if you want to do editing or whatever,
Yeah.
I use the Mac. We spreadsheets and that kind of stuff, I use the PC. So I'm a kind of a hybrid on both, but
I love that.
it's amazing, the technology.
Yeah, I
It
love
really
that.
is.
It's
So
cool that
here's another thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
The reason why we had Gabe on, because I've walked a couple of shows, and some of these people had this digital card. I'd say, hey, because I walk the shows, I pick up business cards because like the roofing show, I have my roofing report coming up, so I walked it a couple of weeks before my report was due, brand new contacts, and I like picking up cards, and like, oh no, I have a digital card, and they would just send they would send it to me, and I was like, oh man, I got to get one of those. Then I got turned on to Gabe, and he showed me this. I'm like, oh my god, I got to have this guy on here, because when you see this, you're going to want to do this. You won't buy another business card ever. And business cards are going to be a thing of the past. They just will. And just like my magazine, I don't print anymore. My son, he doesn't know what a magazine is. He's going to look at it on his phone, his tablet, his Mac, whatever. That's why I kind of, I'm old school, but you can always teach an old dog new tricks.
I appreciate that. And you will learn it. And you pitched it perfectly, which is, we've all experienced this. You're walking around, you do get a business card, but the thing is, we know that your phone is holding that contact. But what's interesting about it is, there was websites, and that was a way to get a lot of information about someone. So there's a hybrid now that's available. And actually what we're going to demo right now is called a digital business card. So what's interesting is, I always have my business card with me at all times, and it's actually my phone lock screen right here. You'll notice I got my logo and my QR code. But here's really the thing that's being replaced is, when you get someone's business card, unless you stop and take the time to input all that information, take a picture of their headshot, and still, are you going to write down like, oh, he's the head of this marketing and he's also with this company? I mean, it's just a lot of information, right? That usually you don't get input in there. The second part of course, is, do you follow up? Are they in a format? Like, a paper business card, if you don't input it in your phone, it doesn't even make it to the phone. It just goes in the trash. And we all know how that goes. So what we've kind of done is solve a couple of those problems. And you might have, as you're watching this, you guys experience a digital business card. The idea is super quick to set up and very usable. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to give you a demo right now, just of how exactly we can connect, whether this be in real life or on the phone. You guys, this is a way to take your business information, be impressive at hello, and then quickly connect with someone. So I'm going to go ahead and click share my screen here, because I've already got one teed up. And I'm going to go over to, just give me 1 second here. I was looking up the basketball games. Had to make sure that San Diego was still in there. So I'm going to show my digital business card. Now, again, what you'll see on the phone that Dave is about to show you in just a minute is exactly the same way that you see here on this. But really what this is it's my contact info that I've included. So if I want to include my social media icons and my phone number and my email and a little bit more about me, I can. But one of the most powerful buttons on here is, when someone else scans this, they can get my contact info on their phone immediately. So what I'll do is, I'm going to have David, I'm going to say, David, go ahead and scan my QR code. Now, this could be on a flyer. This could be on a sign. This can be on my phone, just like you're seeing here. And when David...
So I'm going to scan this right now.
Yep, go ahead and scan that QR code. And what that'll do is it'll automatically show a link on his phone.
Yeah, so there's my link. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hit the link.
Boom.
And there he is.
And what he's seeing on his screen is now exactly what I'm seeing on my screen, which is my digital business card. Now, David, the next thing I want you to show them is, go ahead and click on that save icon right there below those social media links on the left, that save icon.
Yeah.
And then show that screen there. What you guys will see is, that is my business information ready to go right there on his phone. And I'm going to actually stop sharing just so they can see that. So my information is ready to be stored in his phone. And that's only one of the super cool features that we've got there. Now, let me show you another one, David. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to come over here to David's digital business card, you guys. And now I'm going to say, David, it's great to meet with you. I wish that I could follow up with you and know a little bit more about you. And he's going to let me know, you know what? I'd like to follow up with you too. So not only can I save David in my phone and I can quickly text him, what I can also do is say, I'm going to give David my information so he could follow up with me, or he can ask me for information. And that is actually this connect with me button right here. So I'm on David's digital business card. I'm going to click one button and I'm going to simply say, hey, I'm Gabe Gunlock. I'm going to go ahead and drop him in my phone number. Boom, done. I'm going to give him my business email address right here. And then I'm going to send him a quick message. Hi, David Corson. Let's connect. Boom, connect with me. And what that's been able to do is take my information very quickly on his phone. I know who he is. I know his contact information. And he just got a text message. That's what he's showing you right there. David's showing you that, boom, within that moment, he received a text alert lead. He received an email, and I was stored in his database of leads. Now, here's the cool part that's different about this in a website is 2 or 3 fundamental things. One is, if you know your contact info, you could create a digital business card. You don't need to know any more than that. You can add a little more if you'd like, but there's no need to know any more than that. And second of all is, it's not a full-blown website where they can go get lost and try to figure out what information you want to know. You can lead them there very quickly. And finally, it is the ability for someone to quickly get your contact info and do something really cool like this. So right here, I actually have my own self as a app icon. When I click that, I've always got my digital business card ready to go. I've got it as my phone lock screen. And when someone else pulls that up, within one click, they can text me, they can call me, they can email me, they can save me in their phone. So imagine this one scenario. You're at a networking event, you're at a convention, and you're walking through meeting all these people. The people that get stored in your phone and you get stored in theirs, and you instantly follow up with them, those are the ones that are going to be top of mind. Those are the ones you can go back home later that day. And I often follow up. I'll go to a networking event. I'll go sit in my car. I'll have 20 people I've connected with. I'll start following up with them right then and there. And it's crazy how much of this paper business card is slowly just slipping through the cracks. And because it's just not as simple. And we're all creatures of habit. We want to make it as simple as possible. So in a nutshell, it's basically, we create a digital business card. That's the starting point. And then there is much, much more for our real estate side of this. We create websites and individual property listings and all sorts of stuff. But the point today, David,
and all that's on your phone.
All of it's on the phone. It's all set up in moments. It's all about their brand. And it was all about me and you are here networking, connecting. You needed a digital business card. We got you one. It was pretty painless. And now you're sharing it with everyone else. And that's what we're here to share today, which is create your digital business card today. I'm going to put a link right below this, totally free, get set up. And let's get to networking. And that's the way that we support the world and our entrepreneurs, is by helping them get a little modern, get a little bit modern. And final point on that, if you want to put a little QR code on your digital business card, here's one of our customers, Dan, he put a QR code right on his card. So you can still scan that card and then go, whoop, that can go away, but he's still in your phone, right? Lots of new networking, lots of new fun ways, but make sure they got your business info stored in their phone and that instant quick follow-up there.
I must have picked, here. Here's a stack of cards that I picked up. All right. I don't know, it might be 150 in here, 100.
Yeah.
So I'll send these to my girl. She'll key them, but if it was digital, I could have just boom, 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 boom.
As you're going.
And in the old days, I actually bought a little scanner where I could feed the card in, and then sometimes, depending on the card, it wouldn't read everything, wouldn't put it in the right field. I tried all different ways, to automate it. But now when I was at the shows, I saw this, and then we met and you showed me yours. I'm like, this thing is so simple to use. And the thing was that, Gabe's in the real estate side of things when we were showing it. And if you're a real estate guy and you have a company, you've got 50 salespeople. They all can have their own cards. They can all have all their different properties that they want. They can all have their own website. So what I was thinking was, if you're a flooring guy out there, or if you're a lighting guy, or if you're a contractor, or if you're a developer, you could have, all your, business development people there. They could have their cards. They could show all the different projects that they've been working on. Maybe you're a lighting guy and you've got 100 agencies out there pushing your lighting line across the country, that they could have all your new products. They could have their own websites. I mean, this is just unbelievable of where it could go. And, I'm a digital guy. So, I just took a digital class. It took 12 weeks to learn autoresponders, all this stuff to become automated. And I'm telling you, there's 8 billion people on the planet, and they're all on the internet. Here's And everybody, this phone is the most important tool that you can have in business, because I can have an event. Let's say I have a cocktail party, and like we have a cocktail party coming up May 10th in New York at one of my board members' office. So I've got a ton of people that have New York phone numbers. If they didn't reply to me that they were going to attend, I will text them in the morning. I'll spend a half hour and I'll just go through and I'll copy and paste. Hey, if you're not free, you should come by on the address. Here's the address. Stop by. And people will come by, because people will respond to text more than they do email and that kind of stuff. They just do, because they're like, oh, I got something, or I got their notification. So
Yeah.
texting is amazing. But once you get all this other information, you can check out my Facebook page. You can go to my website. You can go to my Instagram. You can go to all these other things. And if you have a Salesforce, you could actually use that to your advantage and, become not only paperless, but also it's so much quicker and it's so easy. So,
David, speaking of text, let's add on one more thing. If I'm on my digital business card, and again, this is available to everyone that's creates their own, is I can actually share this right here via text with David. But what's cool about it is it'll automatically pull in my headshot and all my info. So I'm actually going to send David a text now that he's mentioning that right now. So I'm just going to simply copy the URL. And by the way, this digital business card you don't have to download an app. It's all web-based. You simply create an account. It all lives on the web. It can open any browser on any phone. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and send David. And of course, he has his digital business card, so he's stored in my phone. But I'm going to follow up with him and simply paste in my digital business card. And you'll notice that this is what it looks like on my phone, showing I'm following up with him. But if David wasn't sure, let's say that I was in that conference and I had met with 100 people that day, it's who's going to follow up with me most professionally, am I going to remember, right? And David has received a text, which will now have my face and information inside the text thread, right? Which makes it even simpler to remember. Hey, that's that guy Gabe that connected with me digitally. And you can see that I've written him a nice message above there saying I'd love to follow up and connect with you. And yeah, this is just one of the new, it's like going from a CD to Napster to iTunes. This is going from the business card in this world to the business card of the future where we all live right here. And you know what we say is getting online is a sophisticated process, but we make it as super simple as possible. That's what we're here to do, is to take that learning curve and get away from CDs and get online.
Hey, like I said, I thought I knew a lot about digital, and then I took this digital boot camp. I spent a weekend. I built my first funnel.
Wonderful.
It was working. And then I decided, I want to learn more. So I hobnobbed with all these guys that made millions of dollars. And I made the investment. Every week I had, a 3-hour class, homework, and learned about, edit copy, funnels, quick response, clicks, all this stuff.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I learned was mindset, being positive, getting rid of all the negativity and all the stuff that people that are, just
sure,
doggy denners or, poo-pooers,
yeah.
Get rid of, you don't need your time. Anyway, but once I graduated, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to implement all this on my website. And then I'm going to roll out, some to some of my clients. What are you doing when you capture an email? You could automate it and have your website do all the work for you, and have all this copy where, as you're sleeping, your website's working for you versus just sitting there static. And it's just amazing. And it's so funny to see all these people that are now getting into funnels. Everybody's got a website, but not everybody's got a funnel. Very, very, very few people even know how they work. But they're becoming simpler and simpler how to use. And they're actually selling tools where you actually get something to buy something. Whatever you're trying to sell. So that's why I had Gabe on here, because I'm digital. I've been learning all this stuff, and I saw this, and I was walking the show. I'm like, I got to get my digital card, and then all of a sudden, I had this real estate lady on there, Gabe. Thing. I'm like, oh no, I got to put you on there, and we got to share.
Just like David here, who's got it. Anyone that wants a little bit of help understanding what they can do on the web, anyone that needs a little help understanding what they can do with their funnel, or if they want that first touch, top of the funnel, digital business card. I'm going to just show you one quick thing here, David, which is, our website is actually right here, authorized.com. You fill it all out, and you'll notice that when you guys go right here to the very top of what's included, it starts with a digital business card. But like David was saying, there's a whole universe of ways that you can create assets for your business, funnels for your business with personal websites, property websites, individual postcards. Imagine having all of this under one roof. Well, that's exactly what we've done here. We've worked with thousands of brands across the nation. We bring all of these 8 products together, and it'll just all start right here with your digital business card. And then it'll keep as the plot thickens and you learn more about what you want to do online. That's what we're here to support. And we've got one more way for David to go digital and be stored in everyone's phones. So I hope a lot of people get to scan your card, you get saved in their phones, and then we'll follow up with them too. I mean,
well, my first thing, I'm doing next week is I'm putting my QR code on my About Us page on my website, on all my digital sites. I'm going to put it on there just because, because it's all connecting, and you just never know where your next sale is going to come from. And if you make it simpler to make connections, and believe me, if you walk a show and you shake 200 hands, and then that guy goes back to his hotel room at, it's a 9 to 5 show. He goes back and there you are, versus just a simple text or an email. You got your picture on there. You got this.
Oh, yeah.
It is so.
And I'll tell you, David, what we've been doing is I'm already booking. I'll be in those shows like that. And instead of back in the day, it was like, we're not going to stand at a booth and get our calendar out and try to figure it all out. But a lot of times I can have 4, 5, 6, 10 new meetings booked by the time I'm walking out of the show. Like I go to a networking event and I will be leaving with 20 phone numbers and the top 3 or 4. We've already locked it in. Here's my digital biz card. Click on the calendar link and we're already moving on. So yes, it is a fun gimmicky business card thing, digital, but it works, man. And I'll tell you one more thing that's very interesting, just so everyone knows, is the QR code, previous to 2020, like if you wanted to go to a restaurant and eat during COVID, we all learned how to use a QR code. So it's like very new that all of us even have this capability. And that's why we want to make it not so complicated to connect, because there is a newer, quicker way, that's what saves us time. We get to enjoy more of our life because we get to make quicker connections with the people that we really want to. So I'm having a blast, and my passion is helping other business people stay modern, get online, and have fun with it, really.
Here's a good story when we'll finish this. When QR codes, one of my buds, he was promoting these QR codes where you could customize them with your logo and your colors. And let's say you're a flooring manufacturer and you send all your boxes of laminate to get installed. And normally there's instructions and maybe some of the installers, they don't even speak English and they're trying to figure this stuff out or whatever. You could put the QR code on the box and they could just scan it, and then they could have a video and showing you how to do all this. And so I was right in the beginning of that whole QR code. So I've had a QR code forever. I always had one on my magazine where it would take you right to my website and all that stuff. But it was in the beginning of it. Now it's just evolved. Now look at you scan a QR code and then you get a whole array of all of this other information.
Well, it was also not only it was the everyone being able to know why and how to use it. But I'll tell you one more thing just about that the operating systems on the phone did was, I know a version or two before this, you'd have to go get a special app to download and scan a QR code. So you had to really put an effort to be able to do that. And then of course they got brilliant where if you just open your camera, it has a QR code scan technology in there. So the use of QR codes during COVID and that the phones just, man, it matched up and it's like you're saying, it's exploded. You can ask almost anyone, hey, do you scan this QR code? It's very rare that someone's not no. Oh yeah, I know exactly what to do there.
Yeah, totally. So Gabe, if someone wanted to reach out to you, how would they reach out to you? And if they were, inquisitive on, finding out more about this?
Well, I hope that there's a link right around here that allows them to go get their.
Yeah, we're going to put the link. It'll be linked. It'll be linked in on the website when we post this podcast, as well as on my YouTube channel. So
perfect. Yeah. So links to what we went through here, but they can go to www.authorized, the full word spelled out, .company, authorized.company. Get a hold of me, Gabe at authorized.company. And I would say click one of the links next to this video, reach out anytime. This is literally what we're passionate about doing. We're helping hundreds of people, thousands of people across the nation. I'll have to get off this call and see how many new digital business cards were created, how many more people I get to connect with, man. It's great.
Yeah. So if you were going to leave one positive thought or phrase with our listeners out there on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk, as we finish Q1 and we're going into Q2, 3, and 4, before you know it's going to be the holidays, and we're going to be ringing in 2024.
Not yet.
What would it be?
I got it down. I'm reading this book. It's called Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0. And what I'm loving about it is we're all infatuated with our own product. At least I was, and I'm constantly thinking about product. But this book has really brought me the awareness of the people I'm surrounding myself with and the leadership group that I'm choosing to do my life and business with. I feel like that's exploded for me over the last couple of months in understanding how much the people around me understand me, I understand them, and we're all going in the same direction. So the one positive note I would say is make sure you got the people you love around you that have the same vision. Make sure you know your values and where you're going, and then go out and do great things with great people. And usually it comes back pretty well.
Hey, I'm telling you, I took this 12-week boot camp, and the whole thing was about mindset and getting rid of negativity. So my whole thing is I'm right there with you. Listen, you want to play my sandbox? Come on in, man. We're gonna have fun in that sandbox. We're gonna build stuff and so forth. You don't want to play in my sandbox? Go. There's plenty of sandboxes you can play in. That's okay. I know plenty of people that want to come into the sandbox. Come on in, man. We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna learn together, and we're gonna make money together. So I'm all
that mindset is the way that you view the world. I love it, and that's why we're on this call right here. This is great, man.
Absolutely.
All the past episodes. I feel like I need to know more.
So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, you can find me on my phone with my QR code, but you can reach me. Listen, right now I'm going to production. You still have another week. March 31st, next Friday, is the deadline for my 6th annual Project Profile Awards. So if you have a cool project, newer renovation, could be a retail, restaurant, hospitality, federal, cannabis, craft brew, commercial interiors, firehouses, whatever. You got a cool project and you think it's worthy of recognition, I don't start judging until next weekend. You have till next Friday to submit it. You can go on the website, and it's under the advertising tab. It'll say 2023 project profile. Even though it says March 24th is the deadline, I've extended it one more week. And but March 31st, that is the drop dead date to get considered and judged. And we just about run everything. So if you've got something cool, let us be the judge. All right. And you can get, it's very tough to get in the magazine. This is your one chance during the year where, we run a lot of projects. And it's very simple. I just need to know who the architect and the engineer is. You send me a paragraph and a JPEG picture. Boom, it's done. And we'll lay it out. And I run just about everything, and in all different categories. They might even lead to a cover story. I mean, that's how I get a lot of my projects that I decide, I'd like to have these guys on my cover. I mean, I just ran one little picture, but you should see some of the other pictures that I get along with this stuff. So you never know what might end up, in a future issue. And if you got, charity events, new personnel announcements, new products, send those to me too. We post everything. We had 29 million people hit our website last year. We're trying to go over 30 million this year. So believe me, I answer everybody. It might take a couple of days, but I answer all my emails. And if I do post something, I send you the link. You share it on your social media. It's win-win. And hey, it's all about connecting, and boom, boom, throwing it out there.
I look forward to seeing some of those submissions. I bet you there are some sweet projects out there, man.
Oh yeah. It was funny because the deadline was today and other people were like, hey, can I get an extension? I'm like, hey, you're in luck. Cause I just decided, because I'm the owner and the publisher. I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to extend it until next week because I'm not going to start judging until next week. So
I love seeing what people can build. I love that.
Yeah. Throw it out at you. And well, Gabe, I look forward to meeting you in person. And
absolutely.
I know I'm coming out there for Marie's gig. I think I've got the Urban Land Institute's November 1st, and
absolutely.
We're taking the tour of SoFi Stadium, and then I'm going to make my way down to San Diego, go to her real estate event, and see how that goes. And so anyway, I'm sure we'll be meeting up here before you know it.
100%. I super appreciate it. SoFi will be sweet. I've gone through there. Boy, that's a modern, beautiful looking stadium. But always welcome here. Thank you so much.
I missed the racetrack. They built it out of a racetrack. Used to fly in LAX, and the racetrack, the old racetrack where they built SoFi Stadium, we used to be there. And there was an In-N-Out burger right there, because that's what I used to hit when I would get my rental car. And I'd go down, what is it? I forget what street it is. But anyway, go down there and go by the racetrack, and the In-N-Out was right there. We don't have In-N-Out here yet.
I know you don't.
Please come to Georgia. I know you're going to Tennessee. Come to Georgia. We'd love to have you.
I know. I was gonna say, I'm sorry. We'll save you a couple burgers. It's worth it. Yeah, that's the bomb.
I get a double and a chocolate shake. That's one. And I got to get a T-shirt for my kid too.
I'll tell you, that's the one good thing. At least you like neglect it. You know, your time in between burgers, it makes it even taste that much better. But yeah, come on anytime. I look forward to catching you in November. It's San Diego, by the way. It'll be 72 and sunny, no matter when.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I got some friends there that I grew up with there in San Diego. So I got people out there, and then I'll spend a couple of days, and that's my plan. So everybody, enjoy the weekend. Recharge your battery. If you're out there on a construction site, make sure you stay safe, drink lots of water, stay hydrated, because it's going to start to get hot here before you know it. And with that said, Gabe, say goodbye from San Diego.
All the way. Guess what? I'll see you guys online.
Yeah. And go Aztecs against Bama. Hopefully they'll close it out here shortly.
Yeah, they're on there right now.
And I'm going to say goodbye from Sugar Hill, just below Lake Lanier and the Buford Dam, about 25, 30 miles north of in downtown ATL. And we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Gabe, I will talk to you later.
Have a great weekend, y'all. Thanks.
Ciao. See ya.
Bye.